Hey, what's up, and welcome to the All-In Networker Podcast. This podcast started because myself, Dan McCabe, had a question. The question was, how do you build a big team fast in network marketing? So I asked a good mentor of mine, Dr. David Pietsch, who is a Hall of Famer, 250,000 customers in his downline, tens of thousands of representatives, and he just started spilling the beans. Started telling me everything, not just what worked in the past, but what he is doing in the future to really grow and build his business. I said, hey doc, this needs to be a thing. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, we're gonna turn this into a podcast. So here it is, the secret straight from his mouth into your ears. Whatever we can do to help you and the industry grow is what we're here for. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Let's get started. Hey, what's up, and welcome to the All-In Networker Podcast. So we've got a special episode today, and I'm excited. It is the first time that we've had a guest outside of myself and Dr. David Pietsch, the two co-hosts, on the show, and I'm pretty excited about it. So we're going to talk about some really cool things like what it's like to be a network marketer, how do you respond to the question of being a network marketer, and also becoming an ambassador for the entire industry, and how that is going to not just help you, it's going to help the industry, it's going to help everybody, it's going to help your team grow and win. So I'm excited about this show, Doc. How are you feeling today?
I'm fired up because I have a good friend of mine on here today, Dan.
Yeah, maybe you want to tell us something about her and bring her onto the show here.
Well, don't hold this against her world. Just because she lives in the UK now doesn't mean that, what she talks about, she doesn't know what she's talking about, because she absolutely does. She hails from Cyprus. In her network marketing company, she's built an organization that's done over $1 billion in sales, built an organization of over 400,000 members, achieved the highest rank in her company. She's an international trainer for her company. She's just an absolute rock star. She knows network marketing. She knows business. I'm good friends with her and her brother. And her name is Efrosyni Adamides. Efrosyni, how are you today?
I am excellent, Dr. Page. Thank you for having me. And nice to see you, Dan, as well.
Hey, thanks for coming on here. We really appreciate it. We know you got a lot going on. So why don't you just give our viewers just a little background on yourself, how long you've been in network marketing, and how it's gone for you over that period of time.
So the first time I got exposed to network marketing, I was actually 17 or 18 years old. And I didn't know there was network marketing. I bought a bunch of products, cosmetics products, because I was a university student and I was broke. And they told me that they were cheaper and they were good quality. Didn't think that the business was obviously for me, so because they didn't pitch it to me. And then a couple of years later, I come across network marketing again, and this time it was nutrition products. My sensei at the time, I used to do martial arts, introduced me to these protein shakes, but of course didn't tell me about the business. Clearly, he didn't think I'd be a good fit for the business either. And 2006, I dabbled on my first company. It was gas and electricity. I saw it from a real estate perspective at the time. It made sense. But in 3 years of being a part of it, I recruited 2 customers. One was me and one was my brother. So you could say I was a little bit of a failure, but the truth of it is I never really pushed it because I just wasn't excited about the product until I met the current company that I'm a part of. And that was in 2009, and it was straight after the last economic crash. And because I saw a bunch of money get wiped off my real estate portfolio within a very short period of time, I found myself in a situation where I had 2 properties that their mortgages were worth more than the actual properties, and 40,000 pounds of credit card debt. And I see what was going on in the economy, and I was already working full-time job and 2 businesses. But my brother invited me to a presentation to show me something he wouldn't tell me anything about. But when I got there, I saw the one slide that talked about residual income. And that was the part that got me excited, because I saw that slide and I saw, funnily enough, about halfway, which was an average $5,000 US a month. I saw that and I said to myself, if I can get to that point there, which essentially was the kind of income I wanted to make from real estate, in order for me to leave my job and everything that I was doing, I said, if I can get to that point there, I don't care if it takes me 5 years to get to that point. I know that's going to be much easier than buying another 7 properties in London. That was the point that I decided to say yes, because I understood the power of it. And I haven't looked back.
Nice. So you've been in and we're just getting to know each other here and now. But you've been in the industry of network marketing for quite some time now. And it sounds like in the beginning, the first couple of years, you didn't push it too hard, and even before then, people were introducing you to products, but they weren't introducing the business because they didn't necessarily believe it was for you yet. And so you had to get into this industry. You toe dipped your way in, it sounds like, more so than jumping in with both feet. Did you have hesitations? And I know one of the things that we were talking about beforehand was this hesitation of being in the industry. First of all, let me ask you this. What was the reputation of the industry of network marketing when you were first introduced to it?
Look, the reputation, especially living in the UK, what I found with a lot of people, there was a lot of skepticism around that. So sometimes I would speak to people and I would tell them, they would say to me, what do you do? And I'm like, well, I'm in real estate and I do this travel thing on the side. And essentially my focus would still be real estate, even though my side business was doing better than my real estate portfolio to a certain degree. But it wasn't until for quite some time that I had this shift that I realized that, I talked about real estate because socially it was more acceptable than network marketing. But all of a sudden, in the meantime, the business that I didn't respect maybe as much as what I did in real estate, maybe because the business here cost me a few $100s, whereas my real estate business cost me a few £100,000 of investment. Maybe it was the fact that, one thing had more risk. So maybe I treated it more seriously. I don't know what it was, but I did have one of those moments where I just realized that this was the vehicle, and essentially was at a point where also my real estate company had gone under for lots of different reasons. But if it wasn't for my network marketing business, I would have gone bankrupt. That's what kept me afloat. So that was one of the moments that I said, okay, hang on a minute. The business I didn't really respect and value as much as my real estate business is the one that essentially saved me. That's when I decided to make that my number one focus, and everything else was my secondary focus.
Yeah. And it's funny because you and I have very, very similar stories when it comes to that. So a lot of people who listen to the show or follow me on social media know that I have a big background in real estate. I was doing a lot of real estate, but as I was neck deep in network marketing as well, somebody would still ask me, what do I do? And I would default to real estate because of what you just said. It was more socially acceptable to say real estate. And then I finally had that epiphany as well. And I started thinking to myself, the person cutting my hair is never going to invest in my real estate business. But if I mention I'm a network marketer, there's a chance that they're going to buy my product or they're going to join my team. And why don't I just say that? I was wondering what was holding me back from actually saying that. And that's, I found as soon as I started saying I'm a network marketer, doors opened up and conversations could happen a lot quicker because, all of a sudden, instead of dancing around the bush, trying to get them to invite me into the conversation, it's like I just yanked them into the bush and we're able to have it. So I'm sure you've run into that from time to time. Doc, what do you say when people ask you what you do? When did you make the switch to saying I'm a network marketer? How do you answer it as it is now?
Well, I just go right for the jugular. I just tell them the name of the company that I'm in because I am unapologetic. If people ask me, is that a network marketing company? And I say, it better be, because again, this is the heart of the issue, guys. This is an important topic because Efrosyni, we were talking about this earlier. You talked about a video that I recorded for you like 10 years ago because it's about belief. You better believe that what you've got is better than what they're doing. That is the secret sauce. If there is some sort of secret sauce, it's this absolute inherent inside of me belief that I don't care what you do for a living. I don't care what your business is. Network marketing is better. Therefore, I trump you. It's just kind of like I elevate myself above them and I just whap them and I just chop their legs off. Either you're giving up all your time or you're not making that much money. Because listen, I don't care what anybody says. I don't know any other more realistic way for the masses of humanity to have both time and money. You don't have to have that much money. It's about the quality of life. If the income comes in residually higher than your residual bills, you are free. And that's what we're talking about. And I will fight for that all day long.
Absolutely. In saying that you are a network marketer, I've seen people, I've watched this, and I know for myself, and I use the example of my, the person cutting my hair because it was a real life example. That was the first time after I went to a training and I was the one who raised my hand and said, what do you say when somebody asks you what you do? And I was the one who asked the question. I remember the leader who was on stage, he said, you just say, I'm a network marketer, and you talk about it. And because so many people were dancing around the topic, they're like, well, I'm a dream creator. I am, a dreampreneur. They're like, come up with all these wacky names of what it is that they actually do, trying to have that conversation. And I remember when the hair person cutting my hair said, what do you do? And I said, I'm a network marketer. I was nervous that first time. I was nervous saying it because I knew what I was getting myself into, but I'm like, I'm going to do it. And I did it. And then guess what happened? We had a conversation and it was normal. And it's funny how many people really don't understand the industry of network marketing. And when we say that, we have the opportunity to help form their belief on the industry. I mean, it was funny. When I first said that to her, she thought it was a computer thing. So
it is a bit.
Kind of, I guess, but no. So, I had the opportunity there to help shape and form that opinion. At the same time, when we answer that question like that, where we say, I'm a network marketer, then it also gives us the opportunity, if somebody has a negative opinion, well, they're already stuck in the conversation, but now we have the opportunity to reshape that opinion again. So that kind of goes, it leads me into the next part I want to talk to you about, Efrosyni. With, I know you created a brand called Freedom Creators with this idea, which is very in alignment with what Dr. Pietsch and I do with All In Networker, but about becoming an ambassador for the entire industry. We don't talk about companies and things like that on this show because we really want to pick up and lift up the whole industry to help give it a better name and help people understand that they need to become ambassadors of the industry because it helps us all. So can you tell us a little bit about Freedom Creators, what you're doing, and how you found this mission of becoming an ambassador for the industry?
Absolutely. So freedom has always been my favorite word. Ever since I was a little kid, I always wanted freedom. The thing that appealed to me in network marketing was the possibility of creating freedom, because until I saw network marketing, I thought real estate was the only way to do it. And it became my passion that it was, all about helping people create a plan in order to help them to create freedom. Now, a lot of people think about freedom, time freedom, and financial freedom, which is great. But the first freedom that I believe that you always got to create is freedom of the mind. It's freedom of the limiting beliefs that hold people back, and the limiting beliefs that prevent them from having the life that they deserve in the first place. So I wanted to create this training platform that could help people and set a bar for the industry, because like we were saying earlier, I want to get to the point, and I believe network marketing is definitely shifting towards that direction, but I don't think we're still quite there yet. It definitely has improved a lot. And the last few years, I've spent a lot of time actually even researching about the 4 generations of network marketing, what it was like in the 60s and how it transitioned. So we've come such a long way in the industry. But I wanted to create a platform that would enable people to get the right training from a trusted source, a source that was proven and tested, not theory that sometimes you can get on the internet, that someone has a theory about what something works like, rather than actually build a big organization. And set the bar high in terms of network marketing training to help people to create those results and help to enhance the reputation of network marketing. So people can get to the point where they can proudly say, yeah, I'm in network marketing. And people get excited at going, okay, tell me more. Which company are you in? Rather than, oh, you're in one of those things. And it's getting to that point now where it's becoming that conversation, especially particularly certain demographics. It's now becoming almost trendy in certain demographics in terms of, which company are you doing, rather than, are you doing a company like that?
Yeah. And Doctor, I'll toss it over to you for a second, just to kind of answer the same thing. What changes have you noticed kind of the last 10 years in the industry, the reputation then kind of versus now?
Well, I would just say that it's infinitely better. I mean, you look at all the millennials that have come up and come through. I mean, they are absolutely all about network marketing all over the world. I mean, they are just rebelling against the system. I mean, they do not want to have a job. They do not want to be pinned down to a house. They want to be mobilepreneurs, being able to live anywhere they want. And I love it. You know, I mean, this is what if people think network marketing is going away, they are absolutely delusional. You know, you have here in the United States, 40 million people were jobless here last week, and they're looking at people like us who make money from home, and they're just going, wow, these guys haven't missed a beat. I mean, Dan, you and I both know so many people that their network marketing organizations, which were already massive, doubled in the last 90 days.
Right.
So this concept of making money from home right now, sweeping across the world.
And if I can add something to that as well, Dan, and
Yes,
I'm
please.
seeing this because obviously with the situation that's been circulating around the world, depending on when people listen to this podcast, we recently had the pandemic where people have been in lockdown. And what's happening now, we're seeing this here in the UK, what's happening is that you're getting a lot of people now that just had a flavor of what it's like to work from home, to spend more quality time with their kids, to not commute. The average Londoner commutes an hour and a half to 2 hours every single day getting to and from work. So what's happening is we're seeing a trend now of big companies like Facebook, like Twitter, like LinkedIn, coming and telling their staff, hey, you're allowed to go keep working from home for the next 6 months. Some of them, they're saying in the next 5 years, all our staff will be working from home. So now there's never been a better time for people to get into network marketing because there's never been a better platform that can help people to build an income online, work from home, work around your kids, and there's no limit to how big that you can actually build it. So I believe the next 5 to 10 years is almost that golden era of network marketing. So we're definitely well positioned just ahead of that.
Absolutely. Yeah. I couldn't agree more. I think right now, Pietsch nailed it too, that it's the millennials coming through. People are starting to realize it. You nailed it on the backside with people who are staying home with their kids, and they're realizing like there's an opportunity that doesn't involve 90 minutes a day in my car or on the train or however we get to work. We're noticing it here. I mean, I've got 3 little kids, and my wife's been working from home, and she's realizing, that she saves like almost 2 hours a day, from that commute in and that commute back home every single day. So it's definitely going to become a trend. This work from home thing's not going away. If the pandemic taught us anything, is that it's really, really nice to not have to go to an office. So not that you've been to an office for a while there, doctor, but
let me ask you a question. When I started building 13 years ago, I'm a single guy. Being able to do whatever I want to do. Now I'm married. I got 3 daughters, 5 and under. If somebody came to me and said, hey, there's a viable way to get you out of the mess that you created of your life by, tying yourself to this chiropractic office, one location, serious cap on how much you can actually earn. And they said, you can do it all part-time from home for real. I would be like, show me. And I just have to believe that there's just tons of people around the world that are in that same circumstance of just because, in the social media world that we live in, there's so many people that are just watching us from around the world live a better life than them. Day in, day out, they know it's not fake anymore. Like Dan, Efrosyni, I've had so many people over the years, you guys are having the same thing. They reach out and they go, I'm in. I've been watching you for 10 years. I know you're in World Ventures. I'm in. I've already done all the research. I'm in. That happens all the time because it's just this constant barrage of just day after day after day. The quality of your life, day in and day out, is better. And people really, truly want that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you got it there that there's people that are out there that are watching. And I think one of the negative stigmas that surrounds the industry of network marketing is that people think they need to just call everybody and go have a whole bunch of uncomfortable conversations. They don't want to talk to their negative broke brother-in-law, and they feel like that's what they're going to be forced to do. But in this modern era of network marketing, we teach people that go talk to the people that you want to be in business with, talk to the people you want to partner with, definitely talk to those people. But aside from that, there's this really cool thing that they invented like 30 years ago called the internet. This www, you see it all over the place, like where there are people out there that are looking for what you got. There are people out there just like, those of us that are crazy and love this industry that want to talk to us. And we need to find those people, but they exist. And it's just become, some of those barriers have come down, and with all the new technology, it's become so much easier. And I know, Efrosyni, you've created the Freedom Creators. I know you've got a podcast where you talk about this on a regular basis. You've got a website. You've got some stuff that you give away. What are you looking to do with the internet right now? And what's kind of your game plan in this era of network marketing as well?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, the internet has been amazing, especially the last few months as we've had to adapt and turning a lot of our big presentations to online presentations, and same with our trainings. And one of the things that I've always been a big fan of is building in lots of different countries. My team is in 45 countries that I know of. I'm sure it's probably more that I don't know. So constantly find out about new team members. And one of the things that I've always done with the internet is basically, one is create a really cool lifestyle, like show people what you said about people watching you. That's very, very key. Our job, I believe, is to show people what is possible through our lifestyle by leading by example. Because essentially, like Dr. Pietsch shared earlier, it's all about belief. When they believe that it's possible for them, they're more likely to try it. And a lot of people, sometimes there's been that barrier of not seeing the results, but now with the internet, they can see the lifestyle. They can almost experience a day in your life through Facebook, through social media, which helps them to increase their belief that if you've done it, you can do it. And of course, from the other side of it is there's so many great tools that we've got on the internet that we didn't have a few years ago. Like I remember my first 12 months in the company that I'm in, Facebook was literally just at the beginning. We didn't even know how to use it. Like seeing some of my old Facebook posts was actually quite embarrassing. But now you got Facebook, you got, your Instagram, you got so many different tools, and it enables us to cast a much bigger net to attract a lot more prospects, where we don't have the barrier of long distance phone calls or physically us having to be there to talk to them. We can sit there, and if we want to, with all the different time zones, we can talk to people 24 hours a day, because there's always somebody awake somewhere around the world. We didn't have that.
Right. And there's always, somebody looking, and it's just figuring out how to connect with them. I know one of your fastest growing teams right now, Doctor, is another doctor, and they are basically building off of social media and just looking out, and they've figured out a way to find people that they are able to connect with quickly, and they're getting them started faster than, frankly, I've ever seen anybody do this business before.
Yeah, I mean, the growth that we are experiencing right now as we record this is unlike anything ever in my 13 years. And the fact that it's in multiple cities across the country, and we just figured out how to do it. It's just the bottom line. It's just, you just keep figuring it out, and you just keep doing it, and you just keep testing. And then once you get it, like, the doctor that figured this out, his name's Dr. David as well. And he just said to me, a couple of weeks ago, he goes, I can just do this forever. It's just a never ending sea of people. And he's put in something like 70 personals. We've done 2 90-day runs, or we're kind of halfway through the second one, Dan, as you know, so we're maybe like 100 days in. He's got something like 70 personals. And that's after being in our company for 8+ years already, so once you have the ability to do that, because we talk about this all the time, you could fly me across the country and push me out with a parachute, and I land in Omaha, Nebraska, and because I have the skills, I can build anywhere. Well, that's never been more true than it is right now. You can live anywhere in the world. You can live in the UK, you can live in Iceland, you can live in New Zealand. It makes no difference. Once you learn how to do business online, you learn how to meet new people, train people online. I hear a lot of people say, oh, you can't create leaders online. Well, why not? Just because it hasn't been done in the past, and in your mind. I mean, I know a lot of people that have huge, massive organizations, and the only thing they do is online. So, we're not in the position of saying, swing the pendulum all the way over. We're saying you better master some of these skills, or you're going to get left in the dust.
Right. Absolutely. And, just to give Dr. David a little more credit, I know you said he put in 70 personals. To put that into perspective for some of the people listening here, that 70 personals has turned into like 2,000 people or something like that, right? If my math is right.
At least.
At least 2,000 people in 100 days. Yeah, it's just crazy. It's you know, a lot of people like to watch TV before they go to bed. I think watching those guys online, some of the best reality TV out there. It's just
Efrosyni, we have a saying here in the United States, and it's like this. I know they don't have it in Cyprus or the UK, but it goes something like this. It's on like Donkey Kong.
Yep, that's right. It most certainly is. So we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna wrap this up here, but Efrosyni, before we do that, we were recently on your show as well, and you asked us this question at the end, so I wanted to ask you as well. In this era of network marketing, right now, as we're recording this, for somebody new that is getting started, what is the first thing that you would tell them to do?
Number one, put your blinkers on, because there's a lot of noise, there's a lot of distraction right now, and you got to be careful where you put your focus, because if you focus on the wrong area, it's going to hold you back instead of propel you forward. So if there's one direction you want to be looking, is look at the direction of someone that has exactly what you want, that's been able to create that through this business. If you can become their shadow and learn from them and mirror them, sooner or later, if you stay focused long enough, you'll also have their results as well.
Awesome. Love it. All right. Very good. Well, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this episode of the All In Networker podcast. Appreciate you as always, Doctor. And I want to give a very special thank you to Efrosyni for joining us. You can find her, your podcast, Freedom Creators, right?
Correct.
So, yeah, I'd encourage you to jump on to iTunes, type in Freedom Creators, listen to her podcast. And there's one episode in particular with a guy named David and a guy named Dan that I would highly encourage you to check out as well. But
hey, I would say this, if Efrosyni's putting out content, you know that it's rock solid. Hey, I just want to say to you, Efrosyni, you have absolutely earned it. I've watched you for a long time. You've been a pro, you've been consistent, and all the success that you have absolutely paid the price, and you earned it, girl. So kudos to you. I'm super proud of you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me to the show. And I just want to say one thing, Dan, you're so awesome at what you're actually doing. And Dr. Pietsch, never stop setting the pace for us, because I'll tell you what, you were the role model for us that we look towards, and you were the pinnacle of success. And if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have pushed as hard, because essentially we all wanted to break your record, and that hasn't happened. So keep setting that bar high, because you're a shining example of what a true leader is in network marketing. Thank you once again, guys.
You know what? I can't top either of you guys. So thank you, everyone. Catch you next show. Thanks a lot. Hey, thanks for listening to the All In Networker podcast. Dr. David Pietsch and I greatly appreciate it. If you receive some value, or you know somebody that would receive some value, please share this episode with them. We want to pick up the entire industry, help serve the entire industry of network marketing. We believe that when other network marketers win, we all win. So on top of that, if you'd like to check out some of our free trainings, you can go to allinnetworker.com. Otherwise, please just rate, subscribe to this episode, this podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. We'd greatly appreciate it. And until next time, thanks a lot.